the lost episode. Disney cartoons are supposed to be happy, right? Bright colors, catchy music, characters who never break character. But what if, just once, one of them did? What if, for a moment, a cartoon character realized something and stopped playing along? That's what they say happened with the forbidden episode of Goofy, an episode that shouldn't exist, one that only a handful of animators ever saw, and one that, once you watch it, never really leaves you. Animator's story. Lucas had worked for Disney Animation Studios for over 20 years. He had been part of the team that animated Goofy, the lovable, clumsy fool who always bounced back no matter what. Lucas had drawn Goofy falling down stairs, getting hit by cars, even accidentally setting himself on fire. And every time, Goofy would laugh it off. That was his thing. Goofy never stopped laughing. Until the day he did. Until the day, Lucas saw something he was never supposed to see. The episode that shouldn't exist. It was an early morning shift, and Lucas was the first one in the studio. On his desk was a film reel labeled Goofy Test Animation Do Not Screen. He frowned. He had never seen this reel before. Curious, he loaded it into the projector. The film started with a standard Goofy episode. Same old goofball antics. Goofy tripping over himself, getting into ridiculous accidents, his signature laugh filling the screen. Yuck! For a few minutes, it felt normal. Then something changed. The animation glitched for a split second. Goofy's colors flickered. His laugh warped, just slightly. Lucas paused the reel, assuming it was a damaged frame, but when he looked closer, he saw something off. Goofy's eyes. In that single frozen frame, his pupils weren't where they should be. They were too far apart, and they were staring directly at the screen, at Lucas. The moment Goofy stopped laughing, Lucas let the reel play again. Goofy was mid-laugh, but the sound had changed. It wasn't happy anymore. It was strained, like someone forcing themselves to laugh, even though they didn't want to. Then, without warning, the laughing stopped. Goofy's smile disappeared. His body froze. For the first time in his entire cartoon history, Goofy wasn't laughing. He just stood there, eyes wide, mouth slightly open, and then he moved. Not in a way Lucas had animated, not in a way anyone had animated. Goofy's head tilted slightly, his pupils dilated, shrinking into thin black dots. Then he turned, not toward the other characters, not toward anything in the scene. He turned his head toward the screen, toward Lucas. And then, in a voice that was too real, too human, he whispered, "Do you know who I really am?" The horror behind the mask. Lucas jumped back, heart racing. This wasn't possible. Cartoon characters didn't do this. They didn't talk to the viewer. They didn't break the fourth wall. Not like this. The film kept playing. Goofy's face started to change. His normally round, exaggerated features sharpened. His cartoonishly big eyes twitched and shrunk, the whites receding into the darkness of his sockets. His smile, once friendly, began to widen. Too wide. His fur darkened, his outline flickering between sketchy pencil strokes and something else entirely. It was like his shape wasn't stable anymore, like he was glitching or molting. Lucas tried to shut off the projector. It wouldn't stop. Goofy took a step forward. His massive, gloved hand reached toward the screen. And for a split second, Lucas swore he saw the outline of fingers. Human fingers, trying to push through, trying to break out. Goofy's mouth opened, and he screamed. A distorted, glitching sound, layered with something else, something that sounded almost like words. Lucas ripped the film reel out of the projector. The screen went black. But just before it did, he saw the last frame, a single black screen. And in the middle, written in the old Disney font, "Why are you laughing?" The aftermath. Lucas never spoke of that day again. The reel was locked away, buried somewhere deep in the Disney archives. Most people forgot about it, except every now and then, late at night, old animators would whisper about the forbidden episode, about Goofy's final laugh. And sometimes, when people rewatch old Goofy cartoons, they claim the audio glitches for just a second. The laughter cuts off abruptly. And in the silence, if you listen closely, you can hear breathing, slow, deep, waiting. And then somewhere in the static, you hear a voice. Do you know who I really am?